So you may have heard that Gamescom happened recently, and during that show, they announced not only that Silksong is real, but it's coming out on September 4th. I guess that's really all we have to talk about. Thanks for watching the video, like and subscribe, and I'll have more updates for you real soon. Wait, what are you still doing here? Silksong was announced, it's coming out on September 4th. There's nothing else to talk about. There's other stuff besides Silksong that you want me to talk about? All right. We'll talk about all the other stuff that was announced at Gamescom that's not Silksong.
Let's do all the things that you want to do.
Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's your host and Master of Ceremonies, Darkside Rahb, and here I am once again bringing you all the news that's fit to print from the recent Gamescom Opening Night Live Future Games Show, an awesome indie showcase that took place in Cologne, Germany last weekend. As with Summer Game Fest, this will probably be a very long-winded video with a lot of video game announcements and a lot of horns honking outside of my studio here in New York City, because horns will never be denied a chance to be heard by everybody here. Hey, I'm walking here! Anyway, we have lots of stuff to get into, lots of games to talk about, and much like with Summer Game Fest, I will not be talking about every game that was announced during Opening Night Live, the Future Gamescom show, and Awesome Indie Fest. But I will be talking about the vast majority of stuff, and more importantly, the stuff that was interesting to me, the stuff that I think you all should be aware of, and my thoughts about the shows overall. So without further ado, let's talk about the first event of Gamescom that took place in Cologne, Germany. Gamescom Opening Night Live, a Jeff Keighley joint hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley!
So obviously the first thing we have to talk about with regards to Gamescom Opening Night Live is, Jeff, what happened to the flashy shoes, my dude? We loved those orange shoes you wore at Summer Game Fest so much, and then you came out and you just wore orange shoes. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. I thought I knew you better than that, Jeff. Anyway, the real thing that we need to talk about was, in fact, Silksong. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's coming out. Yes, he didn't give us a date because the Team Cherry fellas over in Aussie land were like, we're not going to give you a date during Opening Night Live. We have our own little trailer that we're going to give you on, you know, like 48 hours from now that you could come watch. That was, I think the whole thing was like a minute long. They actually revealed the release date for Silksong as September 4th, 2025, which is, by the time this video drops, days away. Maybe less than that by the time this comes out. But yeah, that was nuts. And of course, if you haven't read the Jason Schreier Bloomberg story about the development of Silksong, you should really go read it, because all the stuff that we assumed about the production of Silksong, Team Cherry's sophomore game, I would say like 99% of us were completely and utterly just off the mark in every way, shape, and form. And that article is actually a really lovely thing to read at a time when it seems like the game news that's coming out is horrifying and not particularly fun.
It's time to wake up.
Next thing I want to talk about is, once again, I was horribly jubated by COD Black Ops number 7, because, you know, I can't not look at that and think and wish and hope that it was a cooler game that was coming out and not a Call of Duty game. But it is what it is. And ultimately, I was just kind of like, damn it, they got me again. Marketing. I used to work in marketing, so I reward good marketing when I see it. But again, couldn't it have been something more interesting? Yes, it could have, but Call of Duty people will probably play this game, love it, hate it, loathe it, despise it. I don't know. Stay tuned for how people feel about the next Call of Duty. Film at 11. I don't know.
Lamp bearer. Something stirs.
Then we had Lords of the Fallen 2, which you might be scratching your head and going, wait, didn't that just come out? And isn't that the reboot Lords of the Fallen, which was, I thought, originally Lord of the Fallen? Are there more lords? Are we making extra lords? How many lords are there? By the way, yes, You're not crazy. Lord of the Fallen, what the fuck? There was the original, then they went off and did other stuff, then they came back and they rebooted this, and now 2 years later we're getting the sequel to the rebooted series. My brain hurts. Stuff like Lords of the Fallen 2 make me just, make me need to step back and be like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm happy there's more stuff to play that I'm not even sure if I'll get around to. So, I don't. So then, of course, we had one of our first This Ain't No Game, miss you, Ryan Davis, of this event, which was the Sekiro No Defeat, which I accidentally wrote as No Doubt when I was watching it on the live stream.
Sekiro No Doubt starring Gwen Stefani. Don't speak, I know what you... Whatever.
Which is I believe it's a Crunchyroll funded anime in the Sekiro universe. Sure, yeah, I'll watch that. Seems cool. There's a much greater chance of me watching a Sekiro anime than playing Sekiro anytime soon, because it's the only From Software game that I didn't enjoy playing. Then there was the Batman Lego game, the subtitle of which I cannot remember right now. It's this one. But yeah, Batman Lego. Looks like a lot of fun. Actually looked like one of the most fun games of the show, and a game that I would absolutely play. And considering we're not going to get a Rocksteady Batman game anytime soon, the fact that they're lumping as much of the Batman franchise into this video game, as is, you know, what usually happens with these Lego titles, and also, like, you know, bringing some of that battle system into this Lego game. Yeah, looks fun. I'll definitely play it. So yes, give me more. I will have a double order of that, please.
Who put that there?
After that, we had the Monster Hunter World Final Fantasy XIV crossover event thing, where it seems like one side is getting chocobos, one side is getting sacreds, one side is getting a whatever the Final Fantasy XIV term is for an event, which I can't remember. And then Monster Hunter Wilds is getting a Final Fantasy monster to hunt, fight, turn into wallets. This whole segment of the ONL took like 25 minutes for them to bring out the developers, have Jeff Keighley talk to them and have them translate, and basically not say a whole lot other than, we're very happy to do a crossover. And then the guy from the other team say, we're very happy to do a crossover. Please buy our game. We're sorry, Monster Hunter Wilds, it doesn't run well. No, they didn't say that. I can't imagine why they didn't say that on the stage. My reaction while watching the live stream was, this whole thing could have been an email. And it could have been, because they're like, even the bookends of stuff they showed on either side of the developers being up there and being like, we're very happy for this crossover. It was like the same thing, only mirrored. One side was Monster Hunter Wilds, and the other side was Final Fantasy XIV. And I was like, can we please move on to the next thing? Okay, great. Onimusha Way of the Sword still looks great. Can't wait to play it. Not a whole lot of new stuff to talk about with this, but I am excited to play it when it eventually comes out. Whenever it comes out. I'm not sure. It looks great. It looks great. I think it's coming out next year. The next thing that was shown was Waifu Torio. No, that's not the real name. It was Arknights Einfield. Wait, that's really what that's called. Arknights Einfield. Where do they come up with the names for this stuff? I swear to you, like, I think Waifu Torio would probably have been better. Because that tells you exactly what it is. Someone will play it. I think it might already even be out now. It doesn't look awful, but I mean, you know, it definitely feels like one of those, you know, animus that I was talking about during Summer Game Fest, where it's like all the animus all the time. You can't even tell the difference. Where does one end and the next begin? Nobody knows, really. Then we had the next This Could Have Been an Email segment, once more unto the This Ain't No Game, Fallout Season 2. Sure, I know, it looks really good. I have not watched Season 1 yet. Don't come for me in the comments. There's a lot I need to watch. I haven't watched the Shogun series either, okay? So, you know, Alien Earth just came out too, so that's also on the list. Everybody calm down. Anyway, Fallout Season 2 looked really good. They brought a bunch of people on the stage. a lot of the actors, a lot of people who are working behind the scenes on the show, and apparently they had just wrapped production and are now in the post-production stage on the show. And they had a trailer to show at the event. And again, this was another like 20-minute segment, which was, all right, video games? Maybe video games. Could we do video games? Because everybody is obviously looking at this, and if you don't know the development cycles that take place when, games are in the news, many people would have thought, oh, they're talking about Fallout Season 2. There must be a Fallout game in the... No, there's not. There's not a Fallout game in the works. There might be a Fallout remake of some sort, potentially, but take that with a grain of salt. But there is no new Fallout game coming. But Season 2 is taking place in New Vegas. So obviously it would make sense to tie in Fallout New Vegas, the Fallout game what made by the Oblivion fellers. That would be cool to come out in some capacity. But again, we have no information of whether that is a thing or not. And obviously Bethesda right now is neck deep in the next Elder Scrolls game. So they showed the trailer and it looks cool. I should watch it. I should also watch Andor. Yes, I know! They also showed more of the Indiana Jones DLC, which I really want to play because punching Nazis is always in season. Anyway, moving on. There was also John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I keep calling this like a Left 4 Dead like. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of just like a co-op shooter set in a very, John Carpenter-esque universe. I don't really know much about this game, but all the videos that I've seen of it look really cool. I'm intrigued to play it, and I'm much more inclined to play a co-op shooter mowing down hordes of zombies than a person versus person first-person shooter like, let's say, COD Black Ops 7. Then there was the Ron Gilbert Microprose Death by Scrolling. It's a very weird little title. It looks like a roguelike vertical scroller game? I have no idea. I was like, one of these things is not like the other in the showcase of games that were around this title announcement. Could it be cool? Yeah, but also I'm kind of like, it felt like a game very much out of place, but then again, it is a Ron Gilbert, apparently, video game, so that's probably why it got the showing that it did, and I'm not against it necessarily, I just don't know what to make of it, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on it and see what it is when it is something we can play.
I once knew a spy. Brilliant, relentless, magnetic.
Speaking of games we're not gonna have a sense about till we play it for a very, very long time, Zero Parades from Zaum. This one I have a lot of reservations about because for anybody who has known me for a long or even a short period of time, I have always been someone who has sung the praises of Zaum's first title, which was Disco Elysium, which if you haven't played Disco Elysium, you absolutely should. It is one of the best point-and-click RPGs ever made. It's like, without a doubt in my mind, the writing is unbelievable, the voice acting is incredible, and the world that it is set up in is just so fascinating. And it is just a shame that because of the really shady shit that went down at Zaum, we will probably never see a true sequel to Disco Elysium. We might see a spiritual successor from some of the writers and creators involved. But if you don't know what happened at Zaum Studios with regards to the sort of hostile takeover that happened with that studio and the firings of the original developers and creators of Disco Elysium, and thus the fallout of the team and the people who are working on it, and those who are now there creating Zero Parades as the follow-up game to Disco Elysium. There's a two-part documentary. Actually, the second part of the documentary recently dropped right before Gamescom, and you should absolutely go watch that documentary. I'll leave a link for it down below in the description, and it'll give you sort of a better picture as to what all went down and why you should be very let's just say extremely cautious about what is coming out from Zhong now, because we don't really know what it's going to be. And also, there's a lot of fucking baggage involved with this new game from Zhong, and everybody should, take a minute and look up what went down. All of that for a trailer that was not very long and didn't show very much. Yeah, that was one of the more complicated showings from ONL. They showed more Ninja Gaiden 4. I didn't actually talk about this at Summer Game Fest, not because I'm not intrigued by it, but I just am not captivated by it. My biggest complaint about Ninja Gaiden 4 is I just don't like the environments. I don't like the sort of really like a high-tech, futuristic, claustrophobic stuff. It just doesn't feel like a Ninja Gaiden game to me. It feels like almost, Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, but not as cool. And I don't know why. Something about my brain just keeps looking at it and just going, I'm not getting it. It's not clicking for me. And maybe I have to play a demo of it at some point in the future, but every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, okay. It's still not Ninja Gaiden 4. And it's not that I don't like it. I just don't know how to feel anything about it other than just like, oh, okay. Someone will enjoy that. Chronos: The New Dawn. This is a weird one because I feel like there was definitely somebody who went, we need a new Dead Space and we need it now. And maybe that is and isn't what it is, but there's a lot of stuff going on in here. I love the look of it, and I love the vibe of it, and this sort of like weird, almost, it's got like, what if Dead Space, but also 12 Monkeys. Like, you remember the scene that I'm talking about from 12 Monkeys, the very start of the movie, where Bruce Willis goes out into the post-apocalyptic New York to collect samples. It's got that kind of vibe going on, especially because of that really weird helmet that has no place to look out of, but has that weird, very disturbing mouth orifice. What is that? Why does it look like that? What H.R. Geiger-esque thing inspired that? It's coming out the same day as Silksong, and I really want to play it because I'm intrigued. I have no idea. Will it be good? No clue. Will it play anything like Dead Space? Not a clue either. It's giving cryostasis in a very weird way. And if you haven't played cryostasis, oh man, if you want to play a supremely fucked up game, I don't even know if it'll run nowadays, but cryostasis was a game I played way back in the day on my Twitch channel. And to this day, I've very rarely played anything quite like it. I think Chronos might fall into a similar camp where it's very interesting, it's very weird, it's got this sort of, this uncomfy vibe going on to it, and it might, grab those people like myself who are looking for some kind of Dead Spacey kind of thing. But it could also be absolute shite, so I don't know. I'm curious. Everything I've seen about it so far has me interested and intrigued, and I really want to check it out. Speaking of things that could be complete shite, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Holy moly, I have potentially zero expectations for this game, because this particular, I only ever played the original game that came out back in the early 2000s once, again, on my Twitch stream, and I really enjoyed it, but it was kind of awkward to play, and it had like significant jank around the edges. But I could see why everybody loved it so much. And I'm not sure that with all of the fits and starts and reboots and reworks and re-edits and, changes over the years and all the hands that it's passed through, it could either end up being really awesome for all the reasons that the community that loved the first game loathes, or it could just be Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines The Room.
I did not suck her neck. I did not.
Oh, how much?
There's a wide range of possibilities here, with only a small portion of them actually ending up being positive. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess. Enshrouded Way of the Water is a new addition that's coming out for the Enshrouded video game that a lot of people seem to love. I'm not a huge builder person, but there's a lot about the world of Enshrouded that seems really interesting. And I could be convinced to give it a shot sometime. I think there's a potential that the exploration of it could actually hook me in a way where I don't mind as much about the building. That was like something that Valheim really did well, where exploring the world was so much fun, I didn't actually have to worry about the building too much, even though I did it. Wasn't my favorite part. But any game where it's like the building is the major part of it, I'm like, no, instantly it's a skip. But if this world continues to be built out in a really fascinating and exciting way, like they're showing with Way of Water, I might have to try it out, honestly. Then they also announced Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's second DLC pack, which I did not write the name of down because I have not played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet, which again, that came out in February. I'm not sure what I was playing at that point, but I haven't played KCD 1. Feels like I'm KCD, KFC, is it the same thing? Where do I get the chicken nuggies? I don't know. Barovia. No, where does Barovia? Where does KCD take place? Now, a DLC for a game that I actually have played, Cult of the Lamb is coming out with its first paid DLC, Woolhaven, which is just... Did any of you catch the cartoon shorts that were made for Cult of the Lamb? Because, my God, I want a whole show like that, but also, if I can't have that, I will take more Cult of the Lamb content. This DLC looks super awesome. I love Cult of the Lamb. It is a great game. They put out so much free content, like insane amount of free content, you know, Hollow Knight levels of free content before finally saying, okay, we're going to put out a paid DLC. So I can only imagine there's going to be a lot of stuff in here. If you have not played Cult of the Lamb yet, I highly recommend.
Hello?
They showed more of Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which looked cool. You know, there was a big chase scene with the main character and her mother, and, you know, she turns around, she disappears, she screams. That game is coming out early 2026. I think it's going to sell like gangbusters. So they put out a couple of Resident Evil games that are like phenomenally amazing, since the one, you know, game that shall not be named, Resident Evil 6. And 9 doesn't look like there is much of a chance that it is going to suck.
I should have it fixed soon. I just need to find my...
But as I said, all outcomes are possible until the game is in your hands and you are playing it. So we all got to keep our expectations in check because we've all been hurt before. But I have a feeling RE9 is going to do just fine.
WoW Midnight.
The next expansion from the ongoing WoW Classic series
This WoW Midnight expansion
had no details and a trailer. If you are a longtime WoW player, which I am not at this point, I think I stopped playing WoW in the late aughts, there's probably people out there who are excited. That trailer did nothing for me. I thought, once again, they made a great trailer. I thought the trailer was pretty damn awesome, but that trailer in no way makes me want to play more WoW. I just don't think I have the heart to go back and play more WoW anymore. I don't even have the heart to go back and play more Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm still paying for that blasted subscription of that game. If I were going to play any MMO right now, I'd probably play Guild Wars 2. I actually even was watching a Should You Play the Division 2 in 2025 video because I'm completely out of my skull, apparently. Speaking of which, there was another game in here somewhere that I missed. Where did I... Oh, I missed a whole other game in there. So NCSoft had a bunch of games in there, 2 games in particular. But the one I was intrigued by was Cinder City, which is NCSoft's sort of anime mecha, The Division-like, which I've also heard referred to as We Have the Division 2 at Home, which I think is fucking amazing. Cinder City looks like it could be enjoyable. I have not played The Division 2 in a while. I have considered going back and playing The Division 2 again, but I didn't even play that much Division 2 when it originally came out because it ended up being just so much like The Division. And then it was set in what I thought was a far less interesting environment. Like after you set the game in New York City, I didn't find it being set in DC all that enticing. But Cinder City, the trailer looked cool. Like I said, it could be hot garbo, but there's always a chance there's something redeemable in there. I mean, you know, I didn't think Genshin Impact was going to be fun, and then I ended up playing 80 hours of it. So what the fuck do I know? I never said that I give good advice about video games. I just said I was going to give you my opinion and then let you decide whether you want to play it or not. And then, actual last but not least, as far as ONL is concerned, the Black Myth Wukong developers showed their new game in the Black Myth Wukong franchise, Zhong, which I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. That's what I have written there. And I'm hoping that is correct. But yeah, they're going to do that, but what with another god? I haven't played Black Myth Wukong. This is a trend here, I know. There's so many games, guys. I am but one human being with a finite amount of time on this planet, and sometimes I'm just finding it really difficult to get to everything that's out there. I've actually, like, I have time scheduled in September for a lot of the Souls-like and Metroidvania and Silksong style games that I haven't gotten to for years. But if you liked Black Myth Wukong, the Wacky Monkey will be back in a future adventure. And also, this apparently is not coming out anytime soon either. I don't even think they had any kind of release date for this. It could be late 2026, it could be early 2027. But at least you know that there's more stuff coming from them. There's no video game here yet. So again, like I said with Summer Game Fest, a lot of these things, grain of salt. So what was my overall thought about Gamescom ONL? I feel like a lot of the thunder of these announcements was sort of, the wind was sort of taken out of the sails in this one from Summer Game Fest just being so chocked full of stuff. There wasn't a ton of things that we saw here that we didn't already know about, or things that, you know, kind of were unexpected, or, you know, we had a lot of repeat showings for stuff that we saw at Summer Game Fest. We had, once again, the extended, you know, Animu section that was, as always, paying the bills for the show that you're watching, because they didn't really want to, you know, show you advertisements necessarily during the show. However, there was one particular trailer.
Something brought us back to this place.
That I was intrigued by, that ended up being the greatest debate of them all.
Something that knows us.
The Gamescom ad.
What are we here for?
I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, they're showing a trailer for Control 2. And then all of a sudden that person's face comes up from, like, you know, the audition for Blue Man's group, I don't know. And all of a sudden it's a trailer for the show that the people in the theater are already sitting there attending.
We're here to play.
Ah, what is going on? The greatest debate is the one you don't expect. Overall, I think between there not being a lot of new stuff to see and the, you know, one more things and the announcements and the very long This Ain't No Game sections, this was a B- for me. It wasn't a bad show. And, you know, it was a very long show. I've always gotten the feeling that when the you know, convention news cycle for video games happens every year, in the past, you know, it would be E3, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show. It always felt like Gamescom was the forgotten about middle child around the holidays. And while this was definitely the most, like, tentpole noticeable Gamescom event in my own recent memory, it still felt rather underwhelming. Although I will just say that Jeff once again did an incredible job hosting, and his co-host Shocks also did a fantastic job hosting. I just feel like it was a good show, not a great show, and a little underwhelming after what we saw from Summer Game Fest, which was just like a barrage of world premieres. Yeah. Even after I posted the Summer Game Fest video, I needed like another 2 weeks to decompress from making that video. I don't think I'm going to have that same issue with this event. But overall, B-.
Hey everybody, it's your host and master of ceremonies, Darkside Rahb from the future, in a different shirt and glasses, saying thank you so much for watching the video up to this point, but I'm actually going to cut this video off here and just leave this video with Opening Night Live and save a second video for Future Game Show and the Awesome Indie Showcase, because this video is already running over 30 minutes long. I really want to get this video out before Silksong launches tomorrow, because I'm going to be playing Silksong on my live stream tomorrow, twitch.tv/DarksideRahb. I would love it if you would come and join and watch me play the game live on Twitch TV. And this video just won't make as much sense if it goes live after Silksong launches. So that's going to do it for part one of the video. Thank you so much for watching my Opening Night Live coverage of Gamescom, and please come back in a couple of days for part two, where we'll be covering the Future Games Show and the Awesome Indie Showcase, as well as a bunch of games that I somehow forgot to even mention between Summer Games Fest and Gamescom, because there's just so much damn stuff, as well as a particular article that I really want to dig into because it has a lot to say about AI and video games, which is a topic that, as a voice actor, I have some personal and very weighty opinions on. So you're not going to want to miss that. Until then, please be sure to like, subscribe, come over to twitch.tv/DarksideRahb and watch me play Silksong tomorrow when it comes out, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, keep playing those video games. Stay safe, everybody. Be good to each other now more than ever. Until next time, peace out, everybody. See ya. Something in there, I guess.